Greeting Miss Mazura and my friends. Today we're going to talk about social learning theory and agenda setting theory. Agenda setting theory is defined as mass media, mass culture, in the process whereby the mass media determines and what we think and worry about. Walter Lippmann, a journalist that observed this function in 1920s, he pointed out that the media dominates over the creation of pictures in our head. He believed that the public reacts not to actual events but to the pictures in our head. Therefore, the agenda setting process is used to remodel all the events occurring in our environment into a simpler model before we deal with it. Researchers Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw have then followed this concept. The common assumption of agenda setting theory is the ability for the media to influence the visibility of the event in the public mind has been a part of our culture for almost half a century. Therefore, the concept of agenda setting theory in our society is the press to selectively choose what we see and hear in the media. Agenda setting has two levels. As mentioned in the theories of communication, the first level enacts the common subjects that are most important, and the second level decides what part of the subjects are important. These two levels of agenda setting lead part into the function of this concept. This theory of agenda setting, as I've mentioned above, has many uses in our society. First of all, it gives the power to establish what we see and what we hear, and which part of the news is important to see or hear. As much as this theory seeks to have attention of the audience, it falls short for some glory. Be it that, it sometimes leaves the audience ignorant about certain issues that were not made available for them. They are also being manipulated, accept or see things in different manner. Also, the audience become biased in expressing their opinions and subjects of their information they contact with. Along the line, it is important to note that the media aren't very successful in telling us what to think, but they are stunningly successful in telling us what to think about. News doesn't select itself, so is the power of agenda setting. For example, that comes to mind is the movie Anchorman 2. Give the graveyard shift to the Prime Network. Will Ferrell's news team make up stories and streak shows event to attract American viewers, rather than showing them real stories, real news that allows them to get the highest rating, and to let them be the highest among all.
Hi, I'm Christine. I will be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of social learning theory. First, the advantages is it is an experiment, and for the second one is it is suitable when trying to measure child behavior. For the third one is easily handles inconsistency in behavior. Fourth one is optimistic in a good way. For the fifth one is accurate picture explaining how behavior is learned. Fifth one is offer a way to integrate social and cognitive theories. The sixth one is allow and accounts for cognitive processes. For the seven is explain a large number of behaviors. Is children or people tend to act differently when they are being watched. The next one is the observer can be biased. For the third one, it is not really scientific. Lastly, the observer can miss something. There are some weaknesses too. It is too heavy of an emphasis on what happens instead of what the observer does with what happens. Also, does not take into account physical and mental changes. Third one is doesn't explain all behavior. Fifth one is doesn't explain the behavioral differences. Lastly, doesn't take in account that what one person views as punishment, another person may view as a reward. I will provide one example of social learning theory. The example is advertisements or TV commercials. These are the most common examples of social learning theory. We observe them and then copy them. Commercials suggest that drinking a certain beverage or using a particular hair shampoo will make us popular and win the admiration of attractive people. Depending upon the component processes involved, such as attention or motivation, we may model the behavior shown in the commercial and buy the product being advertised.
Children who observe violent behavior behave violently towards the doll and vice versa. Children observe the people around them behaving in various ways. Individuals that observe are called models. In society, children are surrounded by many influential models such as parents within their families, characters on children's TVs, friends within their peer groups, and teachers at schools. These models provide examples of behavior to observe and imitate. The people around the child will respond to the behavior it imitates with either reinforcement or punishment. If a child imitates a model's behaviors and the consequences are rewarding, the child is likely to continue performing the behavior. For example, when a boy saw his brother bring a good report card home and rewarded by his parents, he will know that bringing a good report card home will be rewarded by his parent, and he will tend to imitate his brother so that he can be rewarded by his parent too.